This is an unexpected review, considering Gulager wasn't anywhere near the top of my list. Now that I'm mostly done with ecchi and horror anime, I decided to give it a try. Man, this show was a pleasant surprise. I seen the show a few years back, yet I didn't remember it being so funny and entertaining. This is a parody, with a lot of references to other popular titles and plenty of thoughtful jokes and remarks. I was able to get only half the references, the Dragon Ball Z ones being the easiest ones to identify.
1501! 15... Oh my god! You're almost on my boobies!
While also delighting myself with an imitation of Mocha Kashia from Zara Vampire.
What are you doing? You can't take pictures without asking first!
That's it. I'm joining the newspaper club.
Also, the Evangelo Trident makes a brief appearance.
Hey, Massive Jerkle Lord, bring me a spear! If we don't have one, bring me something sharp and pointy!
Alongside the Princess Mononoke spin-off and a JoJo Bizarre Adventure mime. So yeah, this show is a fun and innocent ride, alongside shonen cliché and anime archetypes.
When Momao reaches a certain level of pleasure, he can't help but transform into his true form.
The story is about this hot, successful, and popular high school chick who seems to have a very easy and comfortable life.
Hey, Ichigo! Good morning!
Good morning, boys.
Have a great day! We have your slippers for you! Your bag, miss?
Thank you.
It's mostly due to her happiness energy, which attracts good omens and makes people around her perceive her in a positive light.
Oh yeah, that level is out of control. What's worse is you're absorbing happiness energy from everyone around
Nothing you
you.
say makes sense.
She's an anomaly in the city, as her happiness energy is absorbing the power from other humans and making them miserable in the process.
And gave you too much happiness energy. You're absorbing the energy of those around you, which is causing trouble for everyone.
This is all explained for the god of poverty, who is represented by a flat-chested, slender slob called Momiji.
We start reformulating a strategy tomorrow. Thank you, as always.
I enjoyed both main katas, even though they're in a bitter rivalry with each other.
I can suck all that fat out of your chest if you want.
Ooh, sensitive.
I liked Ichiko Sakura because of her mean girl, selfish personality and her booze. I mean, those are some nice, bouncy happy makers.
But are you sure you haven't confused being a god of flat brokeness with flat-chestedness?
Even the gods tremble in envy because of her assets.
I mean, those cannot be real. They've gotta be fake. I hate this girl and her stupid chest. Oh, stop being jealous.
Speaking of which, I enjoyed Moishi because she's kinda nasty and eccentric and very determined in her pursuit of making life miserable for our high school prodigy.
Don't you know what? You want some of this, Sean? Don't ask for something you can't handle! Go ahead and take your piss, Sean!
I like shows that deal with yokai, spirits, and other Japanese folklore. And Gula Girl has some ridiculous interpretations of these many aspects, such as deities and even people of faith.
Oh, mama. Oh, there's no question. That's the same smell as mama. Oh, yeah.
You're cool.
I'll get to the manga a bit later, but as of now, let us focus on the overall concept and how well the anime manages to integrate such a weird and ambitious story into an enjoyable, simple, and fun experience. Let's start with Ichigo Sakura and how much of a selfish and entitled brat she is to everyone around her. There are reasons she does not want to share her happiness with other people, as she was tricked and wounded by her best friend as a child. Even so, she has learned to ignore the rumors and hate the girls from her class like to partake in.
Commoners pathetically looking up from below will never cease to crack me up! They don't even realize their petty jealousies only end up serving as my driving force!
You see, while the boys in her class are bewitched by her appearance, her female classmates harbor deep resentment for her beauty and fortune.
I can't blame them. Just think about it. I'm 16 years old. My life has never been anything less than lucky. I'm pretty. I don't have to worry about money. And I've never had to work for anything like ever.
I like Sakura. She's an independent woman who knows how to take care of herself and is ready to face any challenge. makes her a compelling and badass character. This is female empowerment. Sakura is beautiful, smart, rich, and strong, even powerful enough to fight a deity, but is not respected and admired by her. Good Girl is primarily a comedy, with numerous sketches and caricatures of different beliefs and stereotypes.
I'm joking! It was a joke! Come on! It was an accident, I swear!
But also tries to be serious and dramatic sometimes, and for the most part it does manage to deliver on the sad moments, at the expense of the character development both main characters have to undergo alongside their journey of friendship and rivalry. Like most anime cliché, once Momiji appeared, she immediately became an inseparable part of her life, as she even invited the privacy of her home.
Is this cliche or what?
No sickos in my bathroom! Stay out!
The god of poverty follows her at school as well, which is to be expected, since this is an anime after all.
Why, good morning, Miss Sakura.
Even Death Note had its cliché of having the rival join the protagonist in his private and academic life.
My name is Momiji Hinkagawa. Okay, let's see. My periods are pretty light, and I like that a lot.
I was pleased to see how the similarities to the extremely popular show have not gone unnoticed by the writers. They even cleverly referenced the parallels in the last episodes, as Momiji became an apparent ally of our female main character.
She has to be trying to convince me that she's some super nice girl now, so that I'll drop my guard around her.
It was nice to see the parody play out before our eyes.
Ichiko, do you think I'm gonna take your happiness energy away? Be honest, please.
It felt very appropriate given the situation, and even thematic, as the whole story revolves around their cat and mouse game.
Is that the kind of person I look like?
Yes, it is, for sure.
Naturally, this is a way easier show to evaluate as Death Note, but it was extremely fun to have a similar concept flourish in such an outlandish premise. As I said, Sakura Ichigo is way too much happiness in her life. Despite being alone for most of the time, she just doesn't want to share, which is perfectly understandable considering her amazing and successful existence. Momiji was sent by the boss deity to take away her happiness and forsake her to a life of poverty and suffering among the common man.
I look like a disaster!
Oh, yeah, you do. Those kids are gonna take their toll. That's what I'm hoping for.
I like the sketch she made for her to properly represent the danger she was in.
Ichiko, who fails to be accepted into any of the colleges to which she's applied, will in the near future lose her home, finding herself out on the streets.
It also showed how Sakura is willing to stand her ground and fight for what it is rightfully hers. Basically her happiness. Dude, this is kinda deep and philosophical when I phrase it like that. As I was saying, Sakura only trusts one person in her whole life, namely her butler, who is sadly the one that has to endure the side effects of her power to absorb happiness from her surroundings. He gets sidelined pretty easily in the second episode, and Momiji became her rival, mentor, and even a sometimes life advisor for the rest of the show.
Happiness is something that should be shared. I mean, does it really matter how big and wonderful this birthday cake is if you don't have anyone else to eat it with?
This is a great duo dynamic, alternating between heated arguments to moments of consolation and even compassion between these two kiddies. One thing remains true, however. Momiji is still jealous of her boobs.
By the way, that washboard chest of yours is practically concave. Have you thought about reconstructive surgery to fix it?
Are you trying to say that my boobies are deformed?
She did try to drink milk and do all kinds of exercises, but always failed to increase her bust size.
Well, have you tried drinking more milk?
Yes, I have! I've been drinking milk for 100 years! I can't stand that evil Tichko!
Sakura capitalizes on her insecurities and even manages to severely piss her off on numerous instances.
And you know what she did after that? She held up her giant rack and said,
And you haven't confused being a god of flat brokenness with flat chestedness?
This is the best version of Death Note. Having a rival and partner in your proximity, just waiting for a moment to strike and absorb all the happiness energy. Momiji is a compelling and well-written character. She's lazy and rather inefficient at her job, but very ambitious and proud in her abilities.
Hello, Miss Sakura? It's about time for your death injection!
You just made that up, didn't you? So I'm gonna use this to suck out your happiness energy.
It makes sense she constantly falls in her attempts, because Sakura has simply too much luck on her side. If Captain Taylor ever told me anything, is that luck is the greatest advantage we can have in a fight. I appreciate all sizes and figures, therefore her slender butt and small rack were attractive nonetheless. However, I dislike how sloppy and mean she can be at times.
Do you even know how long it's been since you've showered?
I mean, she's the god of poverty, therefore she should be miserable and undesirable to have around. While Miji has her own fanbase, and she works well of Sakura, which is all we need for the show.
My precious body shall be traded for food!
Whatever, I just want to know why you're doing it in my house!
The dub has some catchy lines alongside well-chosen voice actors.
Prepare yourself. You're about to get effed in the A with a whole bag of D's.
It was strange to have Urza Scarlet be a flat-chested troublemaker, but at least it worked in the anime's favor, as Momiji had to imitate Luffy from One Piece at one point.
Gum Gum Stretchy Arm, King of the Pirates! Hey, isn't something like stretching your arms against the rules?
After all this, all you care about is rules?
Because, you know, they have the same voice actress in the dub versions. Yeah. Also, something I liked about Momiji is that she's no fool. She may be a slob and lazy and disorganized, but whenever challenged, she always rises up to the occasion to troll and make a fool of her opponent.
Dang it, she's making a fool out of me! How can somebody that lazy be that clever? Ugh, but I'm gonna drag this girl down and take her out! I see you're still fostering that rivalry for no reason, as usual.
Another character that I really enjoyed was Ranmaru. She added a lot to the story, and even further Ichigo as a character, which is exactly what every secondary character should do. First she gets introduced as a street punk, a badass troublemaker in a JoJo Bizarre Adventure outfit.
Where anger thrives, happiness is absent. I guess nobody ever took the time to teach you that, little girl.
What?
Sakura uses her appearance to blame her for her misfortune and escapes custody from the local police.
Said she'd hurt me if I didn't do what she ordered.
Did you put her up to this? That's low.
Naturally, Ranmaru holds a grudge against her, and in typical anime fashion, she joins her high school.
It's Miss Rindo. But yeah, I prefer to be called Ranmaru. I love karate!
They wanted to be recognized. Sakura puts on a badass face disguise, which is easily one of the funniest and most creative moments in the whole show.
If this is a cosplay contest, you're toast.
This has nothing to do with you, poverty god. You're just drawing attention to us.
I did enjoy the duel between Ichigo and Ranmaru. Such a great display of physical prowess and honor, only to be defeated by a random act of chance.
I'm stuck.
Oh, you win! You got me! I give up, okay?
The relationship between Ichigo and Ranmaru is the one that evolves the most throughout the show. They start off as rivals, and yet after a bit of research, Sakura ends up defending and even standing up for her against her father, which is something only true companions will be willing to do.
There aren't very many people in this world who would stick their neck out for someone like that, you know. I think you've got yourself a fine friend there.
After this moment, Ranmaru becomes fascinated by her and tries to make her be more open-minded towards others. She sees this, how her loneliness is making her miss many friendships and chance encounters, and tries to become her friend.
I think I got it! What the hell? Why is that going off? You insane? Or like some rabid zombie freak?
Not at all.
It was a well-crafted character arc. Sakura was a rival at first, to become friend, and by the end to be the damsel in distress who needs saving.
And momentarily, she conceals that cherry blossom smile.
Ranmaru has arrived!
So take a seat, punks.
How did you find us?
I like this particular development of events. It felt organic, and even thematic given the situation. Another main character to be introduced is Keita. He's the handsome cool guy Sakura has decided to fall in love with.
So, it doesn't make any sense, but I suddenly have this strong, intense, however random need to let Sleepy Pants be my prince.
I like his introduction. For the first 2 episodes, he was simply sleeping during class. Even Ichiko referenced it in the fourth wall joke.
Some people's children, I swear. Really? That dude's been asleep since episode 1. I've never even seen his face.
This is a standard procedure for Keta, as he's mostly seen taking a nap due to exhaustion from his full-time job. Yeah, he's poor, which is a bummer. Even Sakura decided to abort her plans of starting a romance with him.
Who cares if it requires maximum happiness energy?
This can't be the right address. No one would choose to live here.
Again, this is a creative sketch which represents the process of her thoughts.
With dating a guy who has kids. I mean, they're not his, but he's obviously responsible for them. Which means wherever we go, they won't be too far behind.
All those chibi representatives of certain traits of her personality make a reoccurrence in a later episode when Sakura's naked body gets exposed in front of Keta. I mean, and what a body that is. Delicious.
Let's put on a disguise and pretend to be someone else. I like that idea. Let's do it. Think of something quickly. We're running out of time.
As you can see, a lot of fun misunderstandings. Also, it's pretty cool how Ромару falls in love with Keta as well. Since Sakura gave him a pass, it was to be expected for another woman to find interest in him, and Ромару is also aware of his charms.
I'm trying to sleep. Shut up!
I'm sorry.
Despite her tough exterior, Ромару is a very timid and insecure girl inside, and it was so cute to see her come to terms with her feminine side, both in her attire and in regard with her feelings. Then there's a perverted monk and a masochist dog.
I think you're wrong.
Perhaps we should go into one of these fine establishments to look for clues.
Good idea. Good plan. Let's do it.
But I will only briefly mention how Baba is a very disrespectful representation of a monk, and that is saying a lot given Miroku from Inuyasha. Not only is he perverted, but also kinda dumb, and a bit insensitive.
Perverted, degenerate monk! Twisted jerk, is there anything you can do besides grope teenage girls?
Not as well, but
Momo is just as perverted and weird, with a bondage fetish.
Shake. Other hand. Now bondage. That's a good boy! Here's your reward!
Alright guys, I had a lot of fun with this anime, and I do hope you will give it a try yourself. I give Good Luck Girl a 7.8 out of 10. Easily one of the best parodies out there, and a very enjoyable show.